Well, hello, mathematicians. Today we're talking about subtraction with regrouping. Regrouping, what a big word that is. It's a word that sometimes confuses people, but we'll talk a little bit about what that really means and looks like. And then we're going to start with just these two double-digit numbers, 56 minus 19 equals what? What does that equal? Well, the first thing I do when I set up a problem like this is I convert it into vertical subtraction or stacked subtraction or column subtraction. Whatever you want to call it is fine. But here we are. I like to be able to line up my ones and line up my tens. And so I'm going to start by showing you a visual of what regrouping is, and then showing the shortcut, the standard algorithm for subtraction with regrouping, which is probably the fastest way that you can do multi-digit subtraction. So let's get to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, 56 is the same as 5 tens and 6 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These lines represent tens, and I've got 5 of them. And then we've got 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I made them too close together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these little circles represent ones. So 5 tens and 6 ones. And my 19 is represented by one line because it's one group of 10 and 9 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. Well, my next step is to subtract, starting with my ones and then moving on to my tens. Well, again, I told you that I wanted to provide you with a visual understanding of what's happening when we are regrouping. Basically, what we're doing is we're looking at numbers in this case in the ones place, and we go next door to the larger numbers. Here we have the tens place, and we borrow numbers so that we can engage in subtraction. So let me show you what that looks like. So we're going to start by subtracting the ones here, but there's a problem. The problem is that I have 9 ones here from 19, and I have 6 ones here, and I can't subtract 9 from 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow from a group of 10 in the number 56. How do I do that? Well, if you recall, I said that each one of these lines represents a group of 10. They represent 10 ones. So we're going to take away one 10. We're going to regroup it into 10 ones in our ones place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now what are we left with? Well, we're left with 4 ones here. And we're 4 tens here and 16 ones there. And so if I were to look at this in my column with my column subtraction, I changed 5 to 4 and I changed 6 to 16. So now I can subtract 9 from 16. I'm able to do that. How do I do that? Well, if you want a visual, you can look at it this way. You can say, okay, what's 16 minus 9? I happen to know that that is 7. So if I were to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, what am I left with? I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's one way of thinking about it visually. And so I am going to put a 7 in my ones place. 16 ones minus 9 ones equals 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Now I am subtracting one group of 10 from 4 groups of 10. And am I able to do that? Well, yes, I am. The answer is going to be, if I have 4 tens here and I take away 1, I'm left with 3 tens, right? So put 3 here. And here I know 4 minus 1 is 3. And so my answer is 37. Now I went through that pretty quickly. So I'm gonna hope that you we're able to understand it, and we will do some more practice, at least in my classes we will. But I want to show you something that allows this process to go more quickly. It is subtraction with regrouping, just not with this visual. And so basically the trick is like this. Let's say you have 36 minus 28. Let's just do that. Well, we have a situation here where we need to regroup because 8 cannot be subtracted from 6. 6 is too small. So we're going to use that same process that we used before with the problem 56 minus 19 that we did before. We're going to borrow a group of 10, and whenever we borrow one group of 10, the number in that digit goes down by one digit. So 3 minus 1 is 2, and so now 3 becomes 2 in the tens place, and 6 becomes 16, and that is because 6 plus the group of 10 that we took from the 3 equals 16. Now some people, instead of crossing out the 6 and writing 16, they'll just put a 1 right in front. Some people do that, and that's fine if you want to do that. To make sure that there's no confusion, I cross it out. I'll tell you why, actually. It's because sometimes people will put a 1 here, and they're not sure if it's part of this number or if they're adding 1 or whatever. So when I'm teaching, I usually say just cross it out and rewrite the number so that it's really, really crystal clear. Well, guess what? Now we can subtract 8 from 16. What is 16 minus 8? Well, 16 minus 8 is 8. And now we're going to move on to the tens column. And what is 2 minus 2? Well, 2 minus 2 is 0. And we can write the 0 there, but we don't need to. It has no value. And so our answer is 8. Okay, let's do a couple more. Let's do 84 minus 37, say. Okay, now I am looking over here. I can't subtract 7 from 4, so I'm going to borrow a group of 10. I'm going to regroup, and if you remember, I said we subtract 1 from the group that we're borrowing from. So now 8 becomes 7, and 4 becomes 14 because we add 10 to 4. And now I'm able to solve my problem. If I look over here, I see I can subtract 7 from 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. 7 minus 3 is 4, and our answer is 47. Now guess what, friends? This also works with larger numbers. So let's say I have the number 3,682, and let's say I want to subtract 1,290, I don't know, 94, let's just say. Just making these numbers up as I go. Well, we can apply all these same principles, all these same strategies. So we always start from right to left, from this side, and then we go this way. So we always want to start from right to left. So we're going to go with our ones place. I can't subtract 4 from 2, so I need to borrow. I go next door. I say, knock, knock. Give me 10, bud. And the 8 becomes a 7. And the 2, because we're adding 10, we borrowed the 10, becomes a 12. All right. So now I am able to subtract 4 from 12, which is 8. Put it in color orange. 8. But now I have a problem over here. I cannot subtract 9 from 7 because 7 is too small. So guess what? I have to borrow from my neighbor next door. So I am going to borrow. Now 6 becomes 5, and 7 becomes 7 becomes, running out of space here, 17. And now I can subtract 9 from 17, which I know is 8. another 8. And now I go to my hundreds column. Can I subtract 2 from 5? Well, I sure can. 5 minus 2 is 3. And now finally I'm in my thousands place. Can I subtract 1 from 3? I can. 3 minus 1 is 2. And so my answer is 2,388. So what this means is that 3,682 minus 1,294 equals 2,388. Wow, those are some big numbers that we're dealing with. And that's really all there is to it. I hope that was helpful. Until next time.